What's to say when you already said it? Well, I didn't say anything yet, but here I am now, Kevin Gootee here, gutting the sacred cow. Wow. It's time to attack another late 90s / early 2000s beloved one. We got Jeff Lyons, newcomer, joining us to tell everybody why you were wrong to like High Fidelity. That's right, John Cusack and Jack Black take more flack. Oh, what a rhyme. Damn, I'm good. On this podcast, who's guest hosting? You know him, Mr. Reliable. That's David the producer, the guy who had the balls to say that Back to the Future stinks. Guttingthesacredcow@gmail.com. If you want to say hi to us, why waste any more time? Let's go see if Jeff Lyons can really tune out High Fidelity. Waka, waka, waka. How the hell did you get the Franks above the beans? David the producer.
Dumb and Dumber, of course.
Wrong!
Oh, shoot. It's the other Farrelly Brothers movie.
Jeff Lyons is our guest for today's episode. Jeff, name that quote.
Kevin, can I ask you to repeat that, please?
How the hell did you get the beans above the Franks?
Oh, Jesus. That sounds like definitely a Farrelly Brothers. It sounds like a Will Ferrell. Step Brothers?
It is not.
Son of a...
It is something about Mary.
Oh, my pastor wouldn't let me see that movie.
That sounds like you broke out of the convent then, huh?
I did.
Wise man. Kevin Gootee, David the producer, and newcomer Jeff Lyons is here, everybody. Jeff, welcome to the podcast. How goes it?
Thank you for having me, guys. I'm very excited to be here.
Jeff has chosen a film that hits one of our core values square dead in the nuts. And that, of course, is High Fidelity. Definitely meeting one of our three criteria. And, of course, welcome to Gutting the Sacred Cow, the most beloved movie review podcast out there, movie debate podcast, where our guests are invited to pick a film they find overrated or hate, but try to convince us to see their argument. Of course, the twist being you must have your film meet one of these criteria. Widely beloved, critically acclaimed, or a financial success. Why do I say all that at the beginning? Because that's what the YouTube algorithm wants to hear. Jeff has chosen High Fidelity, which of course came out in the year 2000. A budget of $30 million. You want to take a guess what the box office haul was? $47.1 million. I'm not going to give you a chance to guess that one. So slightly above break even. Now, let's go to IMDb, as we all know, is a scale 1 through 10 with decimal points. We go to our guest, Jeff Lyons, first. Jeff, what beer are you drinking first and foremost? I saw you take a pull there.
We got Pale Ale Yards. It's a local Philadelphia brewery, probably the best brewery in Philadelphia.
Okay. I hate the Eagles, but we'll get past that.
Most people do.
I have a Ship Bottom from LBI. That's my beer.
Oh, I love LBI.
Who doesn't? IMDb 1 through 10. What did High Fidelity score, Jeff?
Well, let me see. IMDb. I'm going to say a solid 7.
Solid 7. David, the producer, my buddy in New Orleans. What do you think, did High Fidelity get on the old IMDb?
I'm going to say a little higher. I'm going to say 8.
7.4.
Ooh.
7.4.
Split the difference.
Yep.
We're going to go to the Rotten Tomatoes scale, 1 through 100. David, the producer, and you know the drill. Critics, Rotten Tomatoes score. Let's go.
I'm sure they gave it high marks. I'm going to go 85.
85, Jeff Lyons.
Here comes a bad Price is Right move, 86.
Boy, I have not heard that before since an hour ago on our last episode. Answer is 91.
Oh.
So Jeff takes it by the skin of an Eagles holding penalty. Ha! They'll do that all day. Back to you, Jeff. What did the audience give High Fidelity, 1 through 100?
Yeah, 88.
88, David, the producer.
I hope it's 6.
Are you going with 6?
I'll say they probably loved it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'll go 75.
I love how you decided to tip your hand in the first 45 seconds of the show. The answer...
Team David.
The answer is 90%. 91 and 90. People, I said people loved it, David. You know that. Quotes. John Dillinger was killed behind that theater in a hail of FBI gunfire. You know who tipped them off? His fucking girlfriend. All he wanted to do was go to the movies. That is the only quote I've pulled from this film. I'll go to my guest first. Jeff Lyons, you have any quotes that stood out to you?
No. And I was thinking that's the only one that is like even remotely quotable, because he is such a dour, angry, just horrible guy that like, and a complete lack of sense of humor about
We'll
himself.
get to you taking the tits out of this in our next segment. Yeah,
So there's no quotes, no good quotes, no good quotes, no good quotes.
David, the producer, anything jump out at you?
Just one, and that's Charlie, you fucking bitch. Let's work it out.
5 fun facts. We know there are 2 Cusacks in this film, but did you know there are 4? In addition to John and Joan, Rob's occasionally vitriolic friend Liz, High Fidelity features the pair's younger sister, Susie, in a minor role as a party guest, as well as their father, Dick, in a likewise minor role as the minister at Laura's father's funeral. Who cares?
Whoa.
Jack Black nearly turned the part down when first reading the screenplay. I want you guys to guess, but there's no way you're going to guess it, so I'm just going to flat out say Artie Lang auditioned for this role at one point.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, but would have been well. But when Black reconsidered, he won the part. The film launched Black's career from a bit player to a bona fide movie star. I say it would have been hard for Artie Lang to pretend to rock out to Walking on Sunshine as he's nodding out with a heroin syringe stuck in his arm.
Yeah, that's a tough look.
Number 3, during an October 2019 AV Club interview with Tim Robbins, he mentioned that he agreed to take the small roles in High Fidelity and Anchorman, even though he knew he would be paid very little for the roles, because they promised to make him a custom wig for each of the roles, both of which he got to keep after filming ended. Robbins said he owns both wigs and as of 2019 uses them often in Halloween costumes.
Oh, there's a yawner fact, huh? Who's even calling him anymore for parts?
Not Susan Sarandon. That's for damn sure.
Yikes.
By the way, still a smoke show. Ran into her in the city. Literally ran into her about 6 years ago and still.
Really?
Yeah. The writers listened to 2,000 songs while picking the soundtrack.
You should have spent that much time working on the script.
I was going to say that, but damn it, David, the producer, you came in and Mariano Rivera that for me. Thanks, pal. I know. Want to take a guess on how many films John and Joan Cusack have done together?
All of them.
Jeff Lyons, you got a number for me, buddy?
I'll go with 7.
10.
Oh.
I swear, just like when we did Say Anything.
I was going to get to that. This is your second in a row John Cusack film.
I can't believe I'm doing 2 John Cusack movies in the same year. When you sent me the email saying you want to do High Fidelity, I'm like, ugh.
Listen, next time if someone does Con Air, you're the first person I'm calling.
Perfect.
Let's go ready to get the audience in on the fun with Ask a Gutter at Rex Crumb between John Cusack and Jack Black. Who wins in the contest of actors who only ever portray themselves no matter what role they are playing? That goes to you, Jeff. Sorry, you're the gutter. I should probably clarify.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's
My
Jack
fault.
Black. Jack Black, 100%. He's the best Jack Black right now at being Jack Black. I don't know if there's any other Jack Black's coming close to the original.
I'm not going to ask you, David. Circle gets the square. That's obvious. At Joe Loves Chem, do you think John Cusack purposely crapped his pants multiple times on the set of The Thin Red Line and leave a mess for a PA to clean up as anonymously reported? Or did he have one accident and he's such a jerk, the story was embellished to make him look bad?
I think that's the second part, definitely. I think it happened. And I think he was such a prick on set that they were looking for the littlest thing. And boy, this wasn't the littlest thing. They were just looking for something to be like, boom. And then they got their little, sound bite that kind of went viral.
I had no idea that happened. David, the producer, did you ever hear that story?
First time when I saw the tweet today, I thought, oh, please let that be true.
No idea about that. So we did Heat before we taped today. And at STST Podcast says, if the casting was flipped, which member of Macaulay's crew, being De Niro, would John Cusack play? And why would it be, quote, whoever gets shot first?
Guys, I don't think I remember Heat. That was 1996.
Five.
Yeah.
Close.
I'm a very old man. I can't remember. That wasn't it the first movie that the two heavyweights starred in together?
Yep.
Right. That's all I know about the movie.
At Dave Quist, Cusack movies are a masterclass on how not to get the girl. A statement, not a question, but nonetheless contributing to a finer level of conversation. That officially closes Ask a Gutter. Gentlemen, no one listens to the end of podcasts, so let's get to the plugs right now. Jeff Lyons, what are you up to? Where can we find you?
You can find me on that dying hell site known as Twitter. Still there. I'm at the handle at Used Wigs, one of the worst handles, and I still own it, at Used Wigs. I also do a beloved podcast, a podcast with beloved comedian Chip Chantry.
Yeah.
Called Junk Miles with Chip and Jeff, where we have guests tell us about a movie that was important to them when they were young and is still important to them today. And then we build quizzes around it and other feel-good stuff celebrating the film. It's a feel-good comfort food movie podcast, probably the opposite of what we're going to do tonight.
I expect my invitation in the email in no less than 24 hours.
There you go.
I have several choices: Big Trouble in Little China, Brain Donors, Naked Gun. We can go on and on and on and on.
We've already done Big Trouble, but the other two, they sound good to me.
Love it. David,
my guy talk to your guy.
Interested as well. David, the producer, my friend, what are you up to over there behind the rant?
Yes, still producing Juliet's 2 podcasts, which are That One Thing and The Unwritable Rant. You can find everything just through our website, which is theunwritablерant.com.
He's a good man. You can hear him on many of our episodes. Definitely the lightning rod, one of the lightning rods on this fine podcast, as he has chosen, oh my God, Stripes, Back to the Future, Goonies, and your wife chose Pretty in Pink, Nightmare on Elm Street. No, was she Nightmare on Elm Street? No, she was not. She sat in Nightmare on Elm Street. She did a few other films, though. Those two are a delightful combo and easily a fan favorite. David, let's just let Jeff Lyons into the lion's den, waka, 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 and come in and upset every Gen Xer out there. So let's see if he can indeed gut the sacred cow.
All right, fellas. Now, I love the idea of High Fidelity. I mean, I literally, when it came out, I couldn't think of a movie I wanted to see more, quicker, went to the theater and saw it. Custom made for me. John Cusack, sure. Why not, right? He's great. Set in a record store with people who love alternative music and have strong opinions. It's me, guys. In the 90s, I spent hours on weekends sitting in record stores, talking to record stores employees, Silkworm, Arc Welder, Jawbreaker, Green Day, all the greats, right? This movie, what did I hear about it? Plot with nuanced relationships, sympathetic characters, great dialogue. So in. Then I made the mistake of watching it, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Hated it from the get-go. The moment Cusack's big sad sack face literally filled the screen and started in one of his diatribes and then awkwardly stalking around the room in a tizzy, I hated it then. Rewatching it, I hated it more. I will just give you this. This is my premise for not liking this movie is simple, guys. It's very simple. All right. Not counting movies about serial killers or white supremacists. John Cusack's Rob Gordon is the least likable and maybe the most insufferable character I've ever seen in a movie. I get what they were going for. Jeff, no, you don't get it. You don't get the depth of him. No, they're going for a redemption arc story, right? A redemption arc of an asshole. There's no redemption, guys. There's absolutely none. He is an arrogant jerk at the beginning. He's slimy. He's aggressive. And by the end of the movie, he's still a slimy, aggressive jerk. But everything works out for him, guys. Bad guys win again.
Nailed it.
Is that it? You're done?
No, I got more.
Oh, I was going to say, Jesus Christ.
I had to take a breath. I'm so worked up right now, Kevin. I was going to have a nice normal... I was going to have a nice, normal Monday night playing some Words with Friends with my mother-in-law, but now I'm all Now I'm all ramped up. Do you guys know after this movie came out, violent crimes against record store workers went up 90%?
I wish I worked at the wall-to-wall sound and video or Sam Gootee to corroborate that fact, but I can't, so I'll defer to that.
People were just walking in and just beating the crap out of anyone who made fun of them requesting a prefab Sprout record. Okay.
That's
all right, guys,
cut.
Here's the deal. I think we know this. A character has to show a modicum of decency or likability, or maybe just have a horrible backstory, right? That we don't know. Maybe his parents were killed. Maybe his dog was stolen, right? That would give us some reason for him to being just a complete prick. On top of this, he has so many other bad traits besides just being an angst-filled jerk. His manic nature felt very forced with the cigarettes and like, skulking around. It just seemed very forced. He looked like he smelled bad the entire time. Like every time you saw him, you could just smell cigarettes and BO on his body. He was not charming, good looking enough to pull off that shitty attitude. Right.
Right.
And then here's one thing that really bothered me. They're like, well, maybe we need a little rom-com element to it. What do rom-coms like, guys? They like a little slapstick. So they had 2 scenes where they had him do slapstick humor, diving over the record counter to turn off Walking on Sunshine, and then diving over a fence in the rain when when Laura pulled up, showing like his range. And it did not work. Like he couldn't pull it off. Like, don't even go there with the rom-com stuff. You already decided you're a movie about an a-hole, right? Stick with that. On top, very strong misogynistic streak, like Stalker. He actually says the line, I'm not going to get off this phone until you agree to meet me for a drink. Like, that's just like threat 1 of a guy like that. We've all known guys like that, right? Like that
was Glenn Close. I will not be ignored.
Dan.
Yeah.
I have a question for you guys. All right.
Sure.
This whole, like, we love this asshole. We're rooting for him, rooting for this asshole. People love prestige shows right now about assholes. Like, they're just huge. Like, do you think it's because people who watch are such assholes, they find some sort of like goodness in seeing people who are bigger assholes than themselves? Like, they're like, I'm an asshole who does assholey things, but this guy on Barry or this guy in Succession, he's a bigger asshole than me, so I'm good to go.
Justifying their garbage behavior. Yes.
Yep. And lastly, I just want to throw this out there, and I'm amazed. John Cusack did not initially want to do this fourth wall breaking narration.
Yep.
I thought it was his idea. But within the first 5 minutes of him talking to you, I'm like, oh boy, like I had a problem with Ferris Bueller. I'm not going to be able to handle this. At least Ferris Bueller did some funny stuff. You don't need to tell me what she looks like or thinks. Let me just see her. Let me see a scene before you tell me what's going to happen. Like, that whole concept, the whole conceit of the narration was just so bad. And it went on, and they never just kind of let it die out. It was the crux of the movie. And lastly, John Cusack, yes, he sucked. Who sucked just as much? Jack Black's character. The amazing thing in that movie was not one of the 3 people he just totally laid into did not punch him square in the face in the middle of him telling them why their music sucked.
And if someone hit him in the face, it would be a one punch gone.
Just done. And it would have been great. Like, if this was a straight up comedy and Jack Black's character was in it would be really great. He would just be a guy who gets laid out but never learns, and then like 2 scenes later gets laid out again, never learns. They could have went different direction. I love Jack Black. I like John Cusack. It just did not work.
Wow. Is that the exclamation point of the argument already?
Guys, I need a breather. Somebody help me out here.
All right. Give me a 1 to 10 then.
I honestly, I was so angry when I watched this again, guys. I literally was like in a bad mood last night watching it again. I give it a 3 because there was a lot of good stuff that I appreciate. They wanted to bring a record store culture. They celebrated good music. They nailed it in so many parts where they kind of gave a voice to like cool bands and a culture of, hey, not everybody is, like into what everybody else is into. There's a bunch of weird dudes like myself who literally go and spend 3 hours in a record store that smells with smelly people who aren't this bad. Right. So I'll give them a 3 for that. But it was just John Cusack's overbearing character ruined the party for everybody.
Wow. I like the conciseness of this. It was a sniper shot. It was a sniper scope like Bradley Cooper, an American sniper.
A lot of people say that about me.
Yeah, well, the wife too, perhaps. I don't know.
Maybe. Maybe,
David,
just maybe.
David, the producer, is there any shrapnel you want to go in there and clean up with, or just want to ravage the bodies and get the hell out of Dodge?
Oh, Daddy's got stuff to add. Oh, the one thing that came up and nailed it right with the first scene where his just big fat head is sitting there just spewing nothing but pretentious bullshit just right out of the gate. And you're like, really? And then you get to pretentious top 5 lists. And then you get the pretentious top 5 girlfriend lists. And then they have to tell this backstories of those, pretentious relationships. It never ended. It just did not stop being not fun. The movie is zero fun. It's supposed to be, it says comedy.
Yeah.
I don't know where they have the comedy in that movie.
That could have been the tagline. This movie's no fun.
Yeah. it was zero fun. And
Zero
Jack Black. I remembered before I rewatched it, I thought, I remember Jack Black being funny in this. I couldn't have been more wrong. He was completely unfunny. I mean, they could have taken that and just called it, School of Rock and Retail, right? They should have just thrown that out there instead of having John Cusack do this movie. It was absolutely awful. And his girlfriend that she broke up with him right away. What was her name? Laura, I think.
Laura, yeah.
Laura.
Yeah.
Laura. Who cut her bangs? A lawnmower?
Yeah. Well, it was the same haircut that Lloyd Christmas had in Dumb and Dumber.
It was jarring when you first saw her because it was a full-on straight shot, and you're like, I can't wait because she's going to be cute. And then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, hey, and you wanted like a story behind it, like him saying, she lost a bet, or I was drunk, she was sleeping, I was drunk, I cut them, she's still mad. And I believe she was so shortchanged. Like, she was a good character, and like halfway through the movie where they're just like, she dumped him because he was cheating on her when she was getting an abortion. He took money from her. Everything that a woman would never go back to. Like, she's a successful lawyer, right? And then they give her the lamest arc after that. They're like, oh, she has a new boyfriend. What kind of boyfriend? Hey, you know what? Let's steal the boyfriend from one of the best movies, Singles, 1991, when Keira Sedgwick dumps Campbell Scott and then goes with the ponytail-wearing pretentious guy who's played by James LeGros. It's the same friggin' character. And both made no sense. Why would a cool chick that he fell in love with, and that I think was very cool, she had more ambition than him. Why would she then just automatically be like, oh, I'm going to go with this loser?
Yeah.
Shortchanged her.
No idea. Well, when they met, she was a waitress, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she
putting herself
wasn't quite, a lawyer quite yet.
Yeah.
But as soon as she started making lawyer money, she's like, I'm out of here.
$60,000 a year, by the way. I also jumped out. I go, what? $60,000 in 2000? It wasn't that much back then.
No. And I had every reason to love this movie. Yeah. I love movies shot in Chicago. Lived there my whole life.
With that accent, you don't say?
Yeah. Yeah. But it's amazing to me that they actually even got that wrong. They could have used a lot of cooler, location shots, and they're just using the river behind Joan, the typical BS that you see in every Chicago movie, and they really cheapened it.
Yeah.
It just was not a good use of the city as a character in a movie, which a lot of them
best.
Kind of right.
I'll make you my ambassador for Chicago, my friend. What's the best film that was shot or features Chicago?
Ooh. I still say it's Blues Brothers.
I don't blame you, even though I hate that film. I despise it. Go listen to that episode. You'll appreciate it, Jeff. Yeah,
I'm not a big fan either. So
or fair. I mean, it's Ferris Bueller, and it's that, right? It's definitely not Rookie of the Year.
Oh my God, Rookie of the Year. There's people talking shit about Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. Or actually, you know what? I take that back. The Dark Knight.
That's a good one.
That's a great one. It's a great fucking movie.
It uses Chicago to its fullest form.
Yeah.
It's great.
It doesn't harp that it's Chicago. It just it's Gotham, but it's shot in Chicago. If you guys can put two and two together.
Right.
Continue.
Exactly.
Sorry,
right.
didn't mean to derail you. Go ahead, sir.
No, that's all right. Besides just being pretentious, even the runtime in this movie is pretentious. 2 hours in 2000. That movie did not need to be 2 hours.
No.
They could have shaved 30 off that quick.
My rule is no comedy shall ever exceed an hour and 45.
Yep.
There you go. And that should have happened in this case, but I know it was based off a book, and they tried to use the most out of that. But man, I'll tell you, I'm never going to the book. Oof, after seeing that movie.
The book was actually good. I mean, here's the deal. The book was set in London. It was an English guy. And if they did this in London as an English guy, I could understand an English guy being a prick more than just John Cusack, because I was like, yeah, I figure most guys in British record stores are probably, unctuous pricks. So yeah, let them have at it. A very funny thing about the guy, Nick Hornby, he did About a Boy, which was a pretty good movie. And the thing I hate when they try to take movies and, Americanize them and stuff. So they kept it in London and everything. But in the book, what the great thing was, this young kid loved Kurt Cobain and he loved Nirvana. And that was his thing. Like, he was a young little nerd and all he did was listen to Nirvana. So when they made the movie, producers like, I don't know if Nirvana has appeal. What's hot? What's going on? I swear to God, do you know who they picked? It looks like Kevin knows.
No, but hold on. Nirvana is one of my top two all-time bands. The book, now that I hear that, I go, oh man, this could have been, they could have had the same horse shit that they had in the film. I would give it an additional 2.5 point bonus if it features 5 Nirvana songs. And I've been like, all right, it's not good, but at least it's a love letter to Kurt Cobain, Chris, and Dave Grohl. Hearing that just takes all the piss out of me. What was it, the Pixies or someone like that? Or
not even close.
The Smiths.
No, they went they literally looked at the charts and they were like, what is the biggest song?
Green Day.
It was a rapper named Mystical. And he had a song that, like, this song about like somebody's, I don't even know. It was just like really dumb novelty song about like, smacking someone's butt or something. And the main problem was, and it, not only that, I even knew, like, Mystical, this guy's a flash in the pan. This is going to be the most ephemeral reference that will just die. And people, and the young kid he had such a thick British accent. He kept saying Mr. Cow. So he sounded like his rapper that he loved was Mr. Cow. And it was so confusing. And I'm like, you could have, in the book, they talk about, like, they break down Nirvana songs in the book and why this lonely kid loved Nirvana so much. And I'm like, this movie would have done, like you said, Kevin, guys like you would have been embracing and be like, oh, hell yeah, they mentioned Nirvana. Yeah, I give it 2 more stars.
Mm-hmm.
Drop the ball.
Well, if they would have waited 1 more year, if they're looking for a novelty song, they could have went with Afro Man's Because I Got High.
That would have been a little, like, 10-year-old British kid in his little British uniform.
The movie Jay and Silent Bob, what was that? Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. That's the only reason that song has any credence.
Oh my God,
good film.
Yeah.
Sorry, David.
That's all right. I just wanted to wrap up by saying there's only one thing I rooted for in the movie, and that was the skateboard kids. I really
yes.
That was it. They're the only ones that were likable in that movie.
You like that they just stole from him, right? Anyone who got away with just making his day worse was like a big bonus. Totally.
That's exactly it. Everyone else, I even felt that the Laura character was pretty unlikable as well.
Yeah.
Which character you said? Sorry.
Laura.
Oh, Laura. Okay. Yeah. Oof.
But one other good thing, which I totally forgot about, was Lisa Bonet.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Smoke show.
Yes. Boy.
I don't really remember her, like, on the Cosby Show and everything. She was cute, but like the way they had her as an alternate chick, like, everything was perfect. Like, she was the perfect, and she deserved to be in a better movie than this, but she was so appealing. And you could see where he's like, wow. There's a fun fact, Kevin, about that. Do you know, right before she comes into the store, Lisa Bonet, what does Jack Black yell to John Cusack's character. He yells to
It's
him.
a Cosby sweater reference.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right before Lisa Bonet comes
Yeah,
in.
I
Pretty
caught
good,
that.
right?
Cute.
Nah.
Yeah, cute guy.
You know
All
what?
right.
For a movie that's so devoid of humor or comedy or just getting it, there was one writer in the room of 20 writers who's probably like, hey guys, could we put like a Cosby joke in? Maybe?
Yeah. No one did that. No one goes, come on, can we get a sweater? Can we get a pudding pop reference in there? Something. Hey, how about a Leonard Part 6 joke? No? Too deep of a cut? All right. Sweater. We'll agree.
He's looking at the Ghost Dad soundtrack.
Ghost, good call. God, I love guys and girls who can throw out esoteric movie references. My dick gets to messing. David, the producer, give me a number 1 to 10, pal.
Oh, this is a 4 at best.
4.
4. Yeah.
Well, these notes are brought to you by guttingthesacredcow.com, where you can find sweet-ass merch, hats, bags, mugs. And remember, kids, we love when you write those 5-star ratings, 2 or 3 sentence reviews, wherever you listen to podcasts. And please, wherever you find us on social media, which, of course, GTSC Podcast on Twitter, Gutting the Sacred Cow Podcast on Instagram and TikTok, where the Chinese are stealing my information as we speak. Please hit that like button. It really helps us get moved up in the algorithm, so that way you can hear hilarious guests like David the producer and Jeff Lyons. Notes. Oh, good. An hour and 50 of a moody adult who acts like a whiny twat. Yay. A vinyl record shop owner would definitely frown upon my collection of SoCal punk, grunge, old school rap, as well as my copy of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Secret of the Ooze soundtrack, because I only got it for Vanilla Ice's Ninja Rap. How dare you not make a face and go, good song, man. Good song. God damn it. I hate Jack Black as much as I hate people that ordered 3,421 lottery combinations at a Quickie Mart when all I want is a bottle of water. But hold on, Jack Black plays Katrina and the Waves' "Walking on Sunshine," which is one of the catchiest 80 tunes ever. Automatic half a point increase. Hey, I'm surprised none of you guys did this. Ready? Hey, top 5 lists of annoying Jack Black films. Ready? Shallow Hal, Envy, School of Rock, Tropic Thunder is a colossal turd, and this film. And hey, top 5 annoying John Cusack roles. Say Anything, Better Off Dead, One Crazy Summer, 1308, and this movie. Top 5, Catherine Zeta-Jones in the 90s, You Bet Your Ass. But let me ask you, fellas, is she worth catching HPV in the throat like Michael Douglas did?
That's crazy. That's.
Yeah, I'll still never be able to explain that one.
I have to go back. School of Rock is a really good movie.
Tropic Thunder, good movie.
No, it's not. It is known for 3 scenes. 3 scenes people love, and they are just Mandela affected into thinking that's a hilarious film. It is Tom Cruise. It was the Robert Downey Jr. blackface, and pick one other random scene. Those are the 3 scenes that it's a funny film. Oh yeah? What about the other hour and 45? I don't remember. Case in point, sustained. I would love to have worked in a video store that my brother did, and I would love to shit on people who want to rent films like Princess Bride, Napoleon Dynamite, Spaceballs, 2001: A Space Odyssey, just to name a few. Then when they get pissed at me for making fun of them, I'll pull a Randall from Clerks and say, "You're not allowed to rent here anymore." This, kids, is right there on the top 10 all-time list of films where black people watch this movie and say, fucking white people.
I can see that.
Add those who have had copious amounts of vinyl to the list of people that I can't hang out with. Of course, that list also includes people who don't own TV, who brag about not owning TVs, people who have seen the band Fish more than once, and other people who think cats are just like dogs. Jack Black is an annoying jerk-off in every one of his comedic films. Every single one of his films, he's an annoying asshole. You know what film I like him most in? King Kong, because he's not an annoying queef. That's why. Jack Black is the type of guy to use your toothbrush and then laugh hysterically about it. He's also the type of guy to sing his dialogue like he's auditioning for Broadway at any given moment of any given day.
What, you didn't like him in Legend of the Pig? Come on.
I will never watch a Tenacious D movie. By the way, if you haven't heard the Shallow Hal episode, guess where I stand on that one.
He had a feeling.
Has that movie just been like shelved for good just because of like just the whole movie's just pretty much fat shaming, right? Is that the one where like
actually I know it's I just rewatched it a few months ago for Don Jameson, who I love on this podcast. It's not really fat shaming. It's them writing a love letter for fat people. Is it? It's a quick like, oh, fat, gross, but then he's like, no, he sees the beauty in her and just falls over himself trying to right all of his wrongs by being superficial. Guess what? No one's buying it. The only way to organize your music is alphabetically or by genre. Oh, wait, iTunes does it now automatically for us. So, no, you don't have to group it like he was about to pull all his albums and do that. By the way, I am one of 250 white guys who don't own a Beatles album, Frampton Comes Alive, or Hotel California. I plan on making this my unbreakable Cal Ripken Jr. streak.
No Peter Frampton. Okay.
That reorg when he took all the records out and put them there, and then like the writers are like, this is gonna speak to music nerds everywhere. They're gonna embrace this. This is gonna be so talked about, like in a cult movie. No music nerd in the history of music nerds have ever said, "Oh, I'm gonna do it autobiographically."
No.
Where was I when I was listening to this?
Public Enemy, Fear of a Black Planet.
Yeah, like no one's ever thought of that in the world. The only thing music geeks do is they do it by genre and then alphabetical.
Right.
And that's the way you do it.
That's what I just said.
He is the only character that made music that he did not write about him. He made it all about him.
Yes. Answering machine monologues. We're all guilty of leaving messages that we wish we could erase. By the way, no better film that encapsulated that kind of feeling than Swingers, when he leaves that shiver up your butthole awful message. But my favorite thing to do as a youngster was leave positive STD results on my friends' families' answering machines. If you didn't do that, you missed out.
Man. You're a cruel man.
Yeah, I was a much nicer child than you, Kevin. My goodness.
John Cusack is 1 second away from proclaiming he's a male feminist, and that's when I'll turn this film right the fuck off. Hey, 29 minutes in, and we've got our first black guy. I am completely shocked. I would have guessed this film would be a complete whiteout. No black people involved. Hey, look at that. Minute 29, our second black guy. All right. Sorry, minute 24 was our first one. Minute 29 was our second. Hey, does John Cusack have a writer that demands his sister Joan is in every film she does? She's that family albatross that everyone has to suffer through, quote unquote, her projects. Oh, we have to support her.
There's something she's got something on him. There's some hidden skeleton that we don't know about, that she's like, okay, I'm going to be in her next movie. Right.
Are you listening, Billy Baldwin? He's talking to you. Holy Christ, they finally play a second good song. Brother's Gonna Work It Out by the Chemical Brothers. Off Dig Your Own Hole. God, I love that album. Minute 37, and I have not cracked a smile except when I heard Katrina and the Waves Walking on Sunshine. That is a guilty pleasure, kids. This movie is as much of a comedy as Saving Private Ryan was. And you boys said it. At what point does Cusack get anyone to root for his character? He's a ne'er-do-well who has loser friends, creating top 5 lists that no one cares about and thinking he's better than everybody else. Oh,
that should have been in the trailer.
Yeah. Here are top 5 reasons you won't like this film.
Just that he wins. Like, I'm just so tired of bad guys winning. And he, not like, married her, then he found this band, he's DJing again, and the final scene, everything, he just wins. Jack Black wins too. He was a complete asshole to everybody, but at the end, they found out he could sing a little soul song with the band. We didn't expect that. And you're like, shit, he won too. Like, bad guys win, man.
I don't mind bad guys winning as long as the bad guys have redeeming qualities, either good or bad, but it's something very original. I mean, Thanos in in Infinity War winning. If you ever saw Arlington Road with Jeff Bridges, holy shit, that one's going to throw you for a loop.
Oh, it's a good one. Bad guy who you rooted for was the Wakanda movie, the first one. What's his name?
yeah.
He was awesome. He was the best. That was the
One of the best villains. One of the best.
I'm a villain, but I have a reason for it. And you just kept like, I was rooting for him as much as, rooting for the other guy. But yeah, you're right, Kev. You got to at least have, even if you're a villain. Yeah. Like Thanos. There you go. He had a good reason. Too many fucking people in the world.
I mean,
I'll thin him out for you.
Yeah. I was gonna say he's not wrong now.
No.
A Bruce Springsteen cameo. Hey, I'm also one of 250 white guys from Jersey who does not get him. As my buddy Ron Barber puts it best, Bruce is for the guys who get home from work, takes off his blue overalls, cracks open a Miller Lite to watch the Met game. His music does not speak to me. Thank you. Here's my Bruce Springsteen impression at a concert. Ready? My daddy always said you should never take the express lane on the Parkway South during the summer. Everyone knows you take the local lane. This next song's called Glory Days. 2, 3, 4.
Do you know who they wanted originally for that? John Cusack did not want Bruce.
Bob Dylan.
Yeah. And then he settled for Bruce. And that was underwhelming because people are like, you guys, you're not going to believe this, but there's a Bruce Springsteen cameo in it. And then you watch it and you're like,
that's it.
That's it. Yeah. He's about as charming as John Cusack is in a movie. He's like, what am I doing? He literally was just like, what's this funny movie we're doing here? Yeah.
I got to be out there. I got to be out there in the Jersey Diner, have myself some Taylor ham, egg, and cheese. This next song's called Rosalita. 2, 3, 4. You talk about cameos out of left field. What the fuck is Darlene from Roseanne doing in here, huh?
That was a weird one.
Hey, I have on my list of a few things that I really liked about the movie. I like that Dick had a little story that he met a girl. It was a good scene. He turned her on to a good band and they had a nice little thing. And I thought that was nice. So just thought I'd throw that in. I was rooting for him. He was likable.
He was the most likable character in the entire film.
And your movie is bad if he's the most likable, right? Because you just felt bad for him because everybody was
tertiary at best. Oh. My God. What's next? Is Becky number 2 coming in? Becky number 2 from Roseanne coming in as another ex-girlfriend? Please say yes.
Oh.
But for a mopey dildo like Cusack's character is, he's landed a few decent looking women. That is for sure. But what do they find endearing about him? He's not funny. He front loads his conversations about his failed relationships and spends more time with his loser friends and, making mixtapes for other women. What do they see in this douche canoe?
Oh, he's worse than a music group because he can't even play an instrument. Yeah. He's got a lot of opinions.
Right. If you ever wonder why dudes stalk women, John Hughes and John Cusack movies are a great place to start.
Yeah. This was scary. Yeah, he was
Pretty in Pink, 16 Candles, all those. Oh boy.
Oh, it's a road.
Say Anything. There's another one for you. You know what I did the morning after bedding a classy lassie? I threw her ass out before breakfast. That's what I did. No, I'm just kidding. You know what I didn't do? I didn't tell her about all my failed relationships because you don't do that, God damn it. Because you want the chance to possibly sleep with her again. Because nothing throws a sponge between a woman's legs faster than pining away for ex-girlfriends. No one was screaming out the entire time watching. She goes, no one does that. No one who has common sense does that. Me? No. Okay, I was the only one. All right, you liars.
And what made him even more likable is when he was, essentially trying to rape that one girl that he was dating. He's like, well, I just wanted her breasts, so I'm just going to keep trying.
Yeah,
I'm going to keep trying.
Relentless.
And I'm going to keep trying.
Yep.
Just like Say Anything, where he was pawning off on her on the couch all passed out, right?
Yeah.
Was that same? Yeah, that's right. Same film. Okay. What point is there standing outside in a phone booth in the rain, except for, of course, to make a DA restraining order a slam dunk? Jesus, Ted Bundy was a hell of a lot more subtle than this guy. If this movie couldn't get any worse, here's Joan Cusack giving a soliloquy and showcasing that god-awful Chicago accent. Yes, David, I know you're sitting right there.
Yeah. Oh, hers is really bad. Believe me.
She was good. She was good in this movie because she was the only one who ripped him, and she ripped him constantly. Even though she's like, "I'm your sister, but you're a dick. You're a dick. Try to be less of a dick." It didn't work, but at least at least there was someone verbally saying it, right?
His mother didn't even love him.
By the way, his mother, John Travolta's mother. Did you know that?
I did notice that. Yes.
Mother or sister?
Mother.
Wow.
Tim Robbins is wasted in this film, but listen, he swam through less shit to escape Shawshank than he did by being in this film.
All right.
That's
Line
how you
of
write
the podcast.
That's how you write a joke, kids. Another great song selection where they're about to fuck up Tim Robbins. Know the Ledge by Eric B. and Rakim. I go, yes, for the Juice soundtrack. God damn, I love old school rap. The shirt that John Cusack wore to Catherine Zeta-Jones' dinner party is shinier than any top 10 prospect at this year's NFL draft. Suit. I forgot that word. Suit. That was key. Shit. Suit at any prospect.
Fix and post.
Fix and post. This movie moves slower than morbidly obese people on rascal scooters in Disney World.
Couldn't agree more.
Top five episodes of Gutting the Sacred Cow podcast. I'm glad you asked. Number one, no particular order, of course. Number one, Dumb and Dumber with Shelley Martinez, where she watched the wrong Dumb and Dumber. Shit you not. David, the producer, eating shit, trying to desecrate Back to the Future.
Yeah, that was not easy.
Dave Landau going after Good Will Hunting. Bill and Joanne doing the Karate Kid on our first live show. And me taking a colonic and evacuating all over A Christmas Story.
Whoa.
Hour and 27 in, and I'm back to reading my autobiography of Brian Johnson from AC/DC when I hear Jack Black start to sing. This is worse than the ball bag trauma that Daniel Craig had in Casino Royale. Car sex. Highly overrated, but necessary when you live with your parents, multiple roommates, or on prison furlough.
Or you're cheating on your girlfriend like he was.
I used to have sex with my ex-girlfriend on the hood of her Mercedes and Porsche Boxster convertibles that her dad both got her for free. Yeah.
Now you're just bragging.
I was, but I broke up with her because, well, lousy blowjobs. True story. Just making a mixtape was always a dilemma because I labored over my own mixtapes. I haven't made one for a gal since 1998, but I would unretire to make a mixtape for Ivanka Trump, Nicole Scherzinger, and Winnie Cooper.
My God.
If that's not a variety.
That's the ones that are taking you out of retirement?
I mean, the list goes on, David, the producer, but I wanted to hit some comedic tones in there too. So I could have said Emily Ratajkowski made it too easy, but yeah. Jack Black seems like he's always quote unquote on. He and Josh Gad would be a nightmare duo together. Oh, by the way, the most tolerable characters in this film, as I said, the Moby lookalike, what's his face, and Tim Robbins. Those are the only ones that you could stomach for more than 30 seconds. I love to tell the screenwriters, including John Cusack was a screenwriter, to suck an entire orchestra of dicks while contracting monkeypox, gonorrhea, chlamydia, and syphilis. Then when you're done leaving the doctor's office to get that diagnosis, I hope you get mugged and they steal your wallet and cell phone for this film. Oh, and as a finishing move, they throw your keys down the sewer. There were zero redeemable factors in this film. The characters stunk. The jokes, not one single joke. Maybe the Dillinger line, I go, okay, that's it. That's original. Storyline, who gives a shit? Listen, the movie that did this right with the snarky characters, Clerks, where Randall shits on everyone's movie taste, but you know what? It's different. He's funny.
Right.
If there was a sequel to this film, here's what would happen. Cusack's store would go out of business. He would work at a chain music store like a wall-to-wall Sound and Video or Sam Goody. Then he maybe becomes a manager, but then eventually gets divorced. It doesn't matter. I still wouldn't watch it. It's a piece of shit.
You know that they made it into a TV series?
I do. And they also made a reboot with the reboot as well. Do you saw that? It's with Lisa Bonet's kid.
No.
Yeah. Did I say I fucking hate Jack Black? I want to make sure I go on his record as saying such.
I don't know if you covered that yet.
Why did she go back to him? There are no redeeming qualities. Is he funny? No. Is he sociopathical? Yes. Is he creepy, stalkerish? Yes and yes. Is he in the least bit romantic? Does he show any remorse, weakness, anything? No. Why is someone who's achieved success in life going back to the loser he is unless they somehow show her tragic Shakespearean flaw of being weak-willed inside? No. Then why is she going back to him? This movie is a 1.5 out of 10. And the half is for the 3 good songs I like in this film. This, I saw it in the theater. I got dragged to go, Jesus, this stunk. Everyone's blowing it metaphorically blowing. Adverb before the verb, Kevin. Metaphorically blowing this film. I go, I just don't see it. Where is it? I haven't seen it in forever. And when you said, I go, it's either this or Empire Records, I said this because I recently saw Empire Records and I fucking hate that film as much as I hate this one. And I did not want to go through it again. I said, maybe, just maybe, this has a chance of redemption. Guess what? It doesn't.
You went hard in the paint, man. You gave it less than 2 stars. Good for
Buddy,
you.
I'm like Rodman on the Pistons with the bad boys here. I'm throwing elbows and no one is safe from my volley of arms flailing. I hate this film. Cusack films, boy, you open the Pandora's box here. Boy, man, I hate Better Off Dead with the Passion. I hated Say Anything. Again, Con Air, all on board for that one.
Mm-hmm.
But this is trash. Critics, 5-star reviews. Oh, get ready for the metaphorical rim jobs lined up around the corner, fellas, like the new Smiths album's coming out. It is still a bit wimpy and sugary, but is definitely entertaining, and the translation to American accelerates. Translation to American, someone's missing some words. Accelerates the tempo refreshingly.
What the hell does that even mean?
Thank you. High Fidelity, which is, with its knowing take on men, messed up romance, and music, is like one long, hook-filled pop song for the eyes. By the way, this guy sounds like he pops his collar and dances way too hard in his seat at a Bruno Mars concert.
I thought Ducky's scene in Pretty in Pink in the record store was better than anything shot in their record store.
It's very true.
Nice.
High Fidelity is an extraordinarily funny film. Stop the bullshit.
Signed, Amy Schumer.
Yeah. Full of verbal and visual wit. And
What's the visual wit? Like it was dark. It was a poorly shot movie. There was no visual cues. There was no like just quick takes. There was nothing. It was,
I
just
misspelled
shit. It was just a typo.
I re-raise your visual wit and all in with a verbal wit. Where's the verbal repartee that is so goddamn catchy and kitschy and laugh-inducing? It's not there. Oh, wait, and the final line, and it is all assembled with immense skill. This is why everyone hates critics. Next one as a film about males, it is amazingly insightful for women. The soundtrack's another great plus. I just adored this film. Ladies, this is not a true insight into men. That would be like John Hughes films as gospel for learning how to get a girlfriend.
Yeah, doesn't say very much about us men now, does it?
It's the wrong cross section of the demographic you're cutting out. It's like the 2/10 of the population. Like, let's go for these people, which just encapsulates all of men. Wrong.
It's a cautionary tale. Like women, if you guys see this movie, then there's this one type of guy that you can just cross off the list.
Right.
This guy, right? And anyone who involved in his universe.
In 10 years, God forbid, my daughter goes to college, I'm going to show her this film and Say Anything and all John Hughes films. They see all those, Pretty in Pink, and go, see all these guys? Get that big red pen out and start crossing them off the list. Critics, 1-star reviews. Like a male version of Bridget Jones, with the lead reduced to a nauseating cipher who espouses mediocre gender politics jargon. Look, as much as I, and I'm sure you all want to agree with this critic, I want him to end up like Sharon Stone did at the end of Casino.
Not in the lap of Joe Pesci.
Actually, having to blow Pesci sounds like a vacation compared to hang out with this person. This one, get ready, David. When happiness does arrive in this movie, it has the air of not something that you reach, like your top speed, but of something that you give into, like baldness or old age.
Yeah, that's called settling for sure. Yep, nailed it.
This is like, that review was like trying to eat air as a meal. Warning, critics pun alert, clench your buttholes, fellas. Cusack has ineffable charm, but he keeps it tuned at the lowest possible frequency. Yeah.
Oh man.
Ooh,
If I
that's
had a slide whistle, I'd be playing the downbeat of it right now. Note to self, props for the show.
Yeah.
I didn't see this movie because I was miserable that evening. I was miserable that evening because I saw this movie. See, I thought the attempt at the joke, I love the attempt, but someone needs to teach that reviewer how to write a joke.
Right. There you go.
Because that got lost in the jumble. Like, I'm with you. I think I know what you're going for, but it just didn't come out well in post. Amazon, 5-star reviews. High Fidelity is a more clever comedy drama for dramaphobics. What is it, dramaphobic? Someone's afraid of drama?
Yeah.
Is that what I'm going to imply?
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then a simple comedy. Simple being the operative word. Although many scenes are funny and some are side-splitting. Let's pause.
They saw a different movie.
No, there must have been some. Yeah, there was
Yeah,
nothing. No sides were split. Yeah. Guaranteed. None. No,
they're watching Airplane instead of this, right?
Yeah,
It's copied and pasted the wrong one.
Different. Yeah.
I've heard the complaints about Cusack's monologues to the camera throughout the film, yet I think they're indispensable. His monologues are key to the story because it's all about perspective and how it matures, and they add humorous touches that otherwise couldn't be drawn out with the straining of dialogue. What's great about High Fidelity is that its characters are real people. They think in real ways, react to things like people we know would react. They deliver witty lines only if it suits their character, not if the screenwriter wishes to inject a cheap laugh. What does that mean?
I would have taken a cheap laugh.
Yeah,
I would have too.
A couple dick jokes, sure, anything. Yeah. Just distract me from what's going on.
Right, they're in the car fucking and she farts or he farts. Like, okay, that's cheap, but you know what? It breaks a little tension. There you go, whatever. Let me preface by saying I'm female. I say, who gives a shit? But I love this movie. I love the book. I love everything Nick Hornby has written. Look him up if you enjoyed this because his writing voice is perfectly captured in this movie. This movie is about music and relationships and heartbreak and is a quote-unquote coming-of-age movie for your 20s. There are so many quotable quotes in this movie that it's ridiculous. The only quotable moments were me saying aloud, how much longer do I have to watch someone self-wallow with the lame supporting cast? Those are the only quotes from me. Quotable moments, guys. Quotable films off the top of our heads. Ready? Caddyshack, right? Naked Gun, Airplane, Uncle Buck, Borat, Stripe,
Home
Alone, Ferris Bueller. This film, no one's out there on these streets spitting bars from High Fidelity going, hey, blah, 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 blah. Oh, wait, you didn't see High Fidelity? Like, no one is referencing this film. Stop it. I often judge people on how cool they are based on whether they've seen this movie and or read the book. If they hated it, I know I won't like them. Look, guys, this person is right about one thing. If they say they like this, I too won't like them. I just realized this is a terrible review. If you dig music, if you're between 35 to 50, if you listen to records, if you like Jack Black and John Cusack, just watch this movie. One drawback, Joan Cusack. But I've learned to block her out since I'm a fan of John Cusack.
Now they know where they stand.
Sign John Cusack's parents. Okay.
Yeah, PR team.
It's a guy's movie masquerading as a chick flick. I saw this movie when it was released, going with my then girlfriend, now wife. She picked the movie, as all chicks do. When I told her I was going to watch it again, she smiled and said, well, you did like the movie much more than I did. It's still good, and it's still a guy film. Hey, sounds like to me that this is someone masquerading as a man.
I can't see how people like this movie. And they're really not saying what they like about it, especially the character development.
This is one I guarantee people say they like to seem smarter than they are. Without question.
That people that, want to be pretentious.
Bingo. The pseudo-intellectuals.
Yeah.
Amazon, 1-star reviews. A depressing man about wallowing in self-pity who blames others, mostly women, for his self-imposed misery. A film with few, if any, redeeming features. Boy, that sounds familiar. Other than that, it's fine.
That was the pitch meeting.
Yeah. Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how shitty is John Cusack? If you think you would enjoy listening to John Cusack whining about how much of a D-bag he is for 2 hours, this movie's for you. Signed, Joan Cusack. Oh, that's cute. High Fidelity is the worst movie I've seen John Cusack in. His character is a self-indulgent, whiny jerk. God damn, there's a lot of sentiments that are constantly echoed. Who spends the first hour of the movie talking to the screen about all of his past relationships while going through a breakup that isn't a breakup. I really couldn't relate at all to the character. He's just horrible. He sleeps with everyone and then whines about the various flaws of each of his former lovers. I just don't get the movie. It bored and irritated me. It's slow-paced, full of immaturity and shallow people, not just Cusack's character, and just plain silly. I managed to watch an hour, but I was drooling and slobbering by that point, and I had to go to sleep. Sounds like you have a pituitary gland issue. Not a problem with this film. I'm watching this movie, and as I'm writing the review, I really don't understand how this movie has such good ratings. Top 5 I don't likes. Ready? Number 1, sluggish. 2, boring. Documentary feeling is number 3. Number 4, too many F-bombs. Number 5, no story whatsoever. Last one. The only thing nice about this movie are the shots of Chicago, which look great, even though I found myself laughing at the L train scenes, especially because they're riding westbound on northbound, southbound trains. Too funny. Signed, Ryan Sandberg.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's pretty inside.
I mean, if anyone's gonna pick that apart, David, that'd be you. That's your nabe. David, the producer. Did Jeff Lyons gut that sacred cow?
He gutted it great. This movie sucks, Jeff. I'm glad that you brought it to my attention because in my head, I did think that I kind of liked it.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
you making me have to watch it again, which by the way, I'll never forgive you for.
It's a dick move on my part.
It's kind of the theme of the show.
But boy, David, didn't we rile up Kevin? My God.
Yeah.
So much vitriol. You learn so much about like all the things he hated in life in one movie.
Yeah.
Jack Black, every John Cusack movie, any family member, anyone named Cusack. But just to further pile on, like people who, for me, like again, a music geek, like I know these guys, I live with these guys, I did this. For me to hate this much, it takes a lot. A lot of work was put in to make a really bad movie worse than it even should have been. Right. So there's got to be something said for that. And there were 20 writers, right? Easily. And
there were 5 or 6. I remember seeing them on the screen.
And they were all just like doing their work, their due diligence. How do we craft like an alt movie, like an alt music movie? And the thing was, this was already after all of the record label things crashed, where all the alt bands who got signed, that collapsed. All the alt bands that were popular, that collapsed. Like the producers of the movie, why were they even thinking that this was still a viable kind of option to make a movie about this type of people? All right, gotta take a deep breath, guys. Again,
gutting continues. I love it.
Yeah, I got to stop.
This was an easy gutting. You did it. Don't get me wrong.
No.
This is taking that cow and having a cut on his leg and then not bandaging it or putting antiseptic on it, and then it got gangrenous, and then the leg had to be amputated. But it's too late. Sepsis has set in, and that cow died. You're the cut. You are the proverbial first cut, which drew first blood. So you, sir, win. Now to our next section, of course, called Who's Funnier, ChatGPT or KG? ChatGPT has written 5 jokes. Let's see how Skynet has done this round. Why did the record store owner in High Fidelity refuse to sell jazz albums? Because he didn't want his customers to be bop-obsessed with something they couldn't groove to.
No.
Oh.
No.
This is as bad as High Fidelity.
No.
How did
ChatGPT must have seen the movie?
How did the protagonist of High Fidelity become a master at organizing vinyl records? He had a sound strategy and a real knack for tracking down the perfect spot for each album.
Oh my God!
Is
this ChatGPT or is this Chip Chantry? Who are you? What's going on here?
This is Jack Black's attempt. What did a music snob say when he saw High Fidelity for the first time? Finally, a movie that gets the soundtrack of my life.
Ooh.
Why did the main character of High Fidelity prefer dating musicians? Because he believed in keeping a harmony between his love life and his passion for music.
These are great.
Oh my God.
Boy, my asshole's puckered up so hard reading these jokes. It's amazing. What's the difference between the characters in High Fidelity and a mixtape? The characters change, but a mixtape stays on repeat.
I don't even know what's happening.
I do. It's called KG4 Skynet Zero. I'm not losing this anytime soon. David, the producer, Jeff Lyons, you guys were a goddamn ball of fire. Piss and vinegar mixed with Fireball, the drink that'll definitely unclog the radiator. Thanks again for joining us, fellas. We'll see you next time. Avita Zen.